Hello and welcome to the CRM Zen Show, where we talk about all things Zoho. This is episode 281 for December 15th, 2023. Stuck on you. I got a feeling down deep in my Zoho and I just can't lose. Yes, I'm on my way. Anyway, from Zenatta Consulting.
Always nice to quote a song to just tee Brett up for one of his singing intros, a rare or not so rare treat nowadays.
Oh my goodness. Well, it was there. That title will make sense shortly, as all our titles do. Although, last week I was thinking, I can't remember what our title was last week, but it was funny. It was OOO, right? Ooh la la, OOO. And it referred to like a story about out of office.
Yep.
But pre-show, we threw that story out.
Well, shooting ourselves in the foot there a little bit, isn't it?
So that was kind of odd, because Tyler and I go through and we weed out. We're like, okay, there's a bunch of stuff we'll leave in the newsletter. We won't cover it on the show. But yeah, I didn't realize that until, I don't know, a couple days after we did the show. Kind of occurred to me. But there we go. But this one we left in. So
there we
go.
Good shape.
There we go. Anyhow, Tyler, with that, we have December is slowly gone. The year is slowly gone. 16 days left, one working day or something like that. Hardly anything left. Anyway, with that, let's get right on into the news, shall we? All righty, and starting with our announcements and events, not right into the news, but getting into our announcements and events. We'll start with our announcements, guys. The deadline to vote for the Zenmies is rapidly approaching. I think we're going to close this thing off Wednesday of next week, something like that. So got like 5-6 days to vote on this thing. So please get in there and vote. Because if you may have guessed it, but the Zenmies is not necessarily recorded live, because we, usually the last end of the month, the last Friday, Tyler and I are off doing something else. So with family, so we're going to be recording that sometime here soon. So anyway, get in there and vote for your favorite app, your favorite extension, your favorite telephony, all those kind of favorite things. We will do the Zenmies and our year in review on December 29th, and that goes to our events. And if you don't know, if you head over to Club Zenatta, club.zenatta.com, Club Z as we affectionately call it, that's where we keep track of all the events in the world of Zoho, the ones we do, the ones Zoho does, and the ones anyone else does. So we're doing the show now, and then you have Azaz, the CRM Zen Show, and the Zenmies coming up in December. And in January, we will be doing a Zoho Marketing Automation 2.0 full product overview. We just dropped a tip on that, by the way, kind of a quick one on that, but then we'll do a full product overview there as well. And Tyler and I are also going to do something special in January. We are going to, we normally do Zoho 1, but we're completely rearranging our resource library inside of Zenatta. If you don't know, if you go to zenatta.com/resources or just click on resources at zenatta.com, that's where we take all of the Zoho apps and we break them into various categories. These are best in class, those kind of things. Kind of rearranging that so it's a little more useful, we think. And instead of just covering the Zoho 1 applications, which is a limited, it's most of the Zoho apps, but it's still a subset. They're probably leaving out 10. We're actually going to go through all of the Zoho applications. And so that'll be kind of some special that we'll drop when Tyler and I find the time to sit down and do it and get that thing out to you guys. So that's what's happening with us. And with Zoho, they are closing out December with some Zoho inventory guided tour, CRM Plus, customer experience platform overview, Zoho Creator, highlights for 2023 for Zoho Click. They've just got several events going on to close out December. Zoho Books, a guided tour, getting started with Zoho Practice, which is Zoho Books' new software for accounting agencies. We've been playing with that a little bit. That is pretty cool. So a whole bunch of things from Zoho as well. And I don't know if anyone else has got anything going. No one else has got anything going, but close. Funny, this
Someday
calendar.
Someone will send us an event to put in this other event section.
We would love to promote them. Yes. This looks like an Atari 800 XL, this little calendar we have up here in the corner if you're watching us on YouTube. Someone will have to look that up. But it's kind of got a similar look to it there as I go off on a tangent. All right, Tyler, with that, let's get right on into the news. We're not going to keep you waiting. Title of our show. Zoho Notebook now has sticky notes. So you don't know what those are. There's like little 3M yellow sticky notes that you can stick on whiteboards and stick on things. Well, these are digital ones that you can stick right onto your computer. If you use a Mac, they actually have a application that ships with every Mac called Stickies, which does this. It's a very finicky application, though. I don't know if anyone's ever used it or not. It's kind of strange for an Apple app. I think they developed it 30 years ago, and I've never touched it since. But this is kind of nice. So if you've got a note in Zoho Notebooks, you can now turn it into a sticky note and attach it directly to your desktop, so you can be reminded by it.
Man,
so
it looks kind of like, too, the way they're implementing this is kind of as like a plugin for a browser. So here they show us on Wikipedia, you can open up a sticky note, grab a couple items, put it on there. And then if you ever come back to this Wikipedia page, that note will still be here for you, as well as most likely saved inside a notebook. So kind of just an easier way to like take some of this data from a page. Here they're just copy pasting from Wikipedia. I know all about that, having been in education for a while. So cool little tool. Never hurts to have another way to easily take some notes.
Yeah, excellent. Cool Chrome extension. So I'm going to have to grab that. And moving on with the news, Bigin APIs. You can now test out Bigin APIs inside Postman. So Tyler, why don't you tell everybody what Postman is?
Yeah, Postman is one of the most popular tools for quickly testing API integrations. Like I still use it internally, just to be able to easily post some data to an endpoint to see what happens. It's a tool that actually started as a free Chrome plugin. So many people loved it that it built into a whole enterprise. Now it's pretty much the standard. So what they've done here is they've added what's called a Postman collection, which basically gives you an easy way to download a set of all of the endpoints and easily add them to Postman. This is great. This just cuts down on a huge amount of time if you're going to build and test an integration. So rather than having to like go to the API docs, copy paste the URL for get record, you would just install this collection. You're going to have every single endpoint in there just summarized for you. That's great. Really nice to have. I'd like, honestly, most applications should have this. We use Postman a ton internally for testing these types of things. So really cool to see. Big fan of Postman collections for really any application.
I was looking at Postman a little earlier to see what other ones. Looks like they've done most of the Zoho apps seem to have their endpoints posted.
A lot of them do. Yeah, a lot of them have collections.
Yeah, good. Excellent. All right. And if you don't know, before we move on from here, Bigin is Zoho's kind of stripped down CRM. You've got Zoho CRM and you got Zoho Bigin. We always say originally when it came out, we said it's very much like Pipedrive, if you're familiar with that, kind of a Kanban stripped down. They've added a lot more to it. And it's becoming, I don't know what the direction is here, if they're all going to merge at one point in time or if the new interface is going to go over. I doubt it because they're on two completely separate databases. So, but Bigin is getting more and more features every year. They're just putting so much into it. So anyway, if you say, hey, I really like Zoho CRM, but man, I wish I could have something simpler, you might want to take a look at Bigin. Oftentimes we recommend it for outside salespeople because you can easily sync CRM in that. So if you got someone in the field, they just want a simple CRM for tracking their deals, moving things through stages and pipelines. That is one way to do it. All righty, moving on. This is kind of cool. Zoho Desk has added parent-child ticketing. And I read this and I'm like, oh, okay, so if I've got a company and the company's got, other locations and I have that parent-child, that is one way they mean it. But they also are saying, well, you've got one ticket and a bunch of other tickets that have similar topics to them. Those can be nested as parent-child, as well as having a customer and those kind of things as well. So you basically can have similar types of problems and have kind of a working towards a joint resolution on them. Did I read this right, Tyler?
Yeah, and it's for potentially too like issues that are related to one another, right?
Right.
So like get an example here, if like if you're watching us on YouTube, you'll see maybe the big master ticket is the website is down, right? But because the website is down, you get a boatload of tickets about individual things that are causing problems because the website is down. So you very well might want to create a parent ticket for website down, let's get it turned back on. But then you still want to nest all of those child tickets underneath so that like when you resolve the big issue, it'll notify all of the other people that you've resolved their issues as well. Like, hey, I'm not able to place an order. Well, that's because the website's down. And so once it's back up, you'll be able to do that. So yeah, this is actually one that is requested pretty often from doing desk implementations. Like as people go deeper and deeper into using desk, there are a lot of cases where this is valuable. Like
Well,
for us,
Zendesk
right back in the day when OAuth went down, Zoho's OAuth went down, and
Yep.
we get a request from every client going, "Why are all my scripts broken?" Right? So you can nest all those, mark the main one complete, and then it will notify all of like the child tickets that it's been solved.
Yep. Yeah. Very cool. This is something I think Zendesk has had for a very long time. So it's one of those, and Zoho Desk is pretty full featured. It's not really missing a lot of things. So this is, like you say, this is a biggie. So for all you desk users out there, there you go. And moving on with the news, Zia Vision enhancements in CRM. So Tyler, I read this, and before I talk about this story, I had to go look at Zia Vision itself. Did we cover this on a show and I just missed it?
I think so. Isn't this the image recognition kind of OCR tool that they've been building?
Yeah. So this is, basically gonna look at an image and say, hey, I want to verify luxury villages with, showing a swimming pool is the thing they're doing. It can look at that image. A PC company wants to standardize its product and ensure that they always contain a keyboard monitor and a mouse. So it can analyze these images in the CRM, by the way. It's looking at them and saying, okay, yeah, these fit. But it's really kind of interesting. So they've made improvements to this, which is in the CRM now, you can now match and detect images for comprehensive validation. So what they're kind of giving here, again, if you're watching us on YouTube, is you're going to go through and you're going to train it. So you're going to give it a whole bunch of images. You're going to train it on these images, and you're going to tell it what the matches are. So they're saying, hey, it's a living room. So I'm going to show you images of a living room. This is what a living room looks like. And then you're going to train even more like, hey, this is a TV and this is what a television looks like. It's the object in the living room. And you're going through and training it on a variety of images. And then it can find these for you and validate these images and say, this one fits all of your criteria. I want an image that has A, B, C, and D in it. And it will go ahead and find those. I'm trying to get the use case for this, but that was pretty cool.
I guess there's like quality control elements. If you had like a bunch of listing agents, maybe you're a real estate company and you want to ensure, like they mentioned, that pictures of houses above $1 million contain certain key elements. Yeah. It's pretty specific, right? Like when you're going to end up using one of these tools, but having it just baked natively into CRM, like for those who need it, it might be one of the only CRMs that just does this, right? If you just ask it to. So really cool functionality. I mean, they're doing a lot more with OCR and image detection kind of across the Zoho sphere. So why not CRM as well?
Pretty cool. And as we go towards the end of the year, the news tends to slow down. There were several stories that we left in, a lot of little iOS enhancements and Android enhancements. So we're not going to cover them on the show. But please subscribe to our newsletters at zenatta.com/newsletter. And then you get a list of not only all the stories we talked about today, but all the rest of the stories that are well. I say that because with that, let's get to our last news story, which is holidays and celebrations, SalesIQ's new seasonal theme. I actually just enabled this yesterday. Hey, if you're using SalesIQ, let's discuss SalesIQ. It's a, it's a, what do you call it? A Swiss Army knife of web tracking and chat and a variety of other things. But SalesIQ is a plugin that you install on your website. Most people use it just to get chat up there. But it also tracks all your visitors. It tracks where they've gone, how long they stay on the site. And it'll drop a cookie on their site. If you chat with them, then you kind of know who they are. So that then gets written back to the CRM, and it tells you where they've gone, what their journey is, how long it can be used for sales. Like you've chatted with somebody and you're talking about this, and now that knows that they've been spending on this page, they've been looking at this product, and they spent a lot of time on this page. It scores that back to the CRM. They can then notify one of your salespeople to say, hey, look, this person hit a certain score. They might be interested. Might be time to reach out to them again. That's SalesIQ, just kind of scratching the surface there. But chat is also one of the very, very big things. And now they are enabling you to have a seasonal theme. So if you were on the main live view, and if you're watching this on YouTube, they've got to always have a very cool view here on in SalesIQ, where it's like these concentric circles going down to the center. And the longer someone's on your site, the closer they get to the center. And anyway, down in your lower right-hand corner is going to be a little Santa hat. And you click on the Santa hat, and it's going to let you basically theme your chat window so that it is going to be Christmassy and have a little Santa hat on it, and put everybody in the Christmas spirit. There you go.
These are the big important updates that our listeners rely on us for. These are the things that you can't miss in the Zoho suite. I do like this one though. It's cute, and lots of people, when they get into the Christmas season, especially like B2C e-commerce sellers, they want to really brand everything on the site, get everybody in that Christmas spending mood. So yeah, never hurts to do these little things. Good job to the SalesIQ team.
As I said, a little touch of Christmas magic.
What do they say? Christmassy magic.
Yes. All right. And with that, Tyler, let's head on over to our implementation of the week.
Alrighty. So this is an implementation that we built inside of Zoho CRM for implementing a client script to allow for secure capture and storage of private information in CRM. So I'll be honest, before seeing this one, I didn't even know this was an option to really get there. So big shout out to Landon and JP who built this out. But so the goal of the implementation here is to define a process for encrypting and masking confidential data as it's entered onto a contact record. So users of CRM will know that you can set up a field, and on the back end, you can make it an encrypted field. But on the front end, when a user sees it, they will still see the full value of that field. The encryption really just affects like the API access and the ability to export that value. But a user still going to see it at the end of the day. So what we wanted to do is implement a client script that could essentially run an encryption for a piece of data as the record is being saved, and then store the masked value. So like, last 4 digits of a social security number back inside of that original field. So there's lots of different ways to do this. We landed on a client script mainly because of one big reason. So if you do this with Deluge, when you save that contact record, if you went into the timeline, you would see the before and after value before and after the encryption occurred. So in the timeline, it would always store, that full SSN just right there, in the timeline. So doing it with a client script, it actually encrypts it before the record saves. So you can't see that full value even in the timeline. It does it just immediately on the fly. It writes back to the original field with kind of like asterisks and just the last 4 digits of the particular number. And then it stores a encrypted value for the full number in that record in a hidden field that nobody can use. In the future, if you do need to use it, you run it through, decryption using an encryption key that's stored in the system. And then you can see that full value if you're like an admin user of the platform. So really cool. Honestly, the thing I didn't know is that you could actually do like the field masking here using a client script where you're replacing numbers with the asterisks, but actually storing the real value behind the scenes. I don't think we've done that before. Again, big shout out, guys, for figuring the client script piece, because the problem with this always was that when you did it with the deluge function, the full number would just be there in the timeline.
Right.
Because you save the record, it triggers a script, then it replaces the full number with the truncated or encrypted version. But anyone who knows to click timeline, right, could just go and get whatever that value was. So doing it with the client script makes it never save as the full number anywhere in the system.
JP did an internal video on this for us to. I'm thinking that I think the decryption was going to be handled in a small little creator app he was writing. If I'm not
potentially referencing it
correct, I think he was saying you can do this and that, but I think it was a little creator app he was going to write where you would, if you could get access, whoever had access to that, who could get the hash key, and it would actually reveal to them what that social security number was.
And then it would log everybody who's actually seen the full value, right? So everybody who's run the routine to decrypt it goes into an audit log. Really, really nice work by both Landon and JP.
Crazy good. Yeah. I think Landon said, well, here's an implementation we didn't think was possible. And certainly enough. It's a good job. Good job, guys. All right. And with that, let's head back over to Club Zenatta and see what Greg's got going on here with our code share of the week. I love this one. Bulk update books invoice via API? ? So I guess it's a special case where he has an unsolved mystery. Where I have an unsolved mystery for the secret of the bulk update parameter in Zoho Books API endpoint. Our devs have confirmed that they have been able to bulk update Zoho Books records with the following API call. This is really interesting because I was following this chat, our internal chat here, saying, is it possible to do this? And it was kind of like, no, I don't think so. Back in and I guess the answer is yes.
Yeah, I mean, this is interesting for me to see. Traditionally, if you go and you look at like the Books API documentation, there's no endpoint for like a bulk update. This becomes important when you're managing API credits, so like higher volume routines. And Zoho Books is notorious for not giving you a lot of API credits per day. I think the default is like 3,000 to 5,000. Whereas like in our CRM account, for reference, with 20-something users, we have like 120,000 a day, right? So the order of magnitude inside of Books is orders less. Interestingly, what it looks like is that they found a parameter called bulk update that you set to false, and then that will actually allow you to pass through a list of data to update more than one invoice in one API call. Interestingly, it seems like it only works in applications like Postman. We're having some issues getting it to work inside of Deluge. So a little bit more discovery that we'll have to do here. But if you are using a non-Deluge option to run these routines, you very well might be able to use this little cheat code to run that bulk update.
Yeah, they're trying to figure it out. So cool. I expect Elizabeth and some of our other devs who are members of Club Z to jump in here and work with the Zenatta team, because Elizabeth does a lot of stuff over at Finance Suite, right?
Yeah, excellent developer. Yeah, she does a lot with inventory and books.
I'm calling you out, Elizabeth. On in here, see what you got going. Anyway, if you are unfamiliar with our Club Zenatta, that is our social area where you can get together and discuss everything that you would want to know in the world of Zoho. So we've got a couple 1,000+ users, 1,000+ members. All we require is your email address, and just where you can go in and talk about Zoho, any problems you've got going on, anything you'd like to discuss. And we've got a whole community here of users who are happy to jump in and discuss what we've got going on and help you with what you got going on in the world of Zoho. That's club.zenatta.com. Everything is there. Code share is there, which we just talked about. All the Zoho news as it happens is there. You could ask a question for our show, Ask Zenatta Anything About Zoho, where we answer your questions. You can ask those there as well. Anyway, head on over to club.zenatta.com and join in. And with that, Freddie, let's head over to Zenatta and see what we got going over there. All righty, over at Zenatta.com, we have our weekly blog, and this one is our team's favorite tire. I think that's favorite. Favorite. That's a good word.
It was fixed. You just got to refresh.
Hang on. All right. Our lost magic. Oh, boom.
Look at that.
But Favo tire, that's a good word. We should
better flow to it. Yeah.
That should have a meaning to it. We should associate. Anyway, our team's favorite Zoho updates for 2023. Ever feel like the Zoho update train is moving so fast you can barely keep up? Well, fear not. All of some of our key members here over at Zenatta, or just the ones who found time to do this, actually threw down some of their favorite updates. Mine is kind of a joke. It's a running gag, and we'll be talking about this on the year in review. But after, I think, 4 or 5 years of me asking for a Zoho notebook to finally be integrated with CRM, it was. And so I had to count that as my favorite, just because I think I've complained about it so much over the years. Tyler, you were big with the Zoho CRM timeline improvements.
They did a lot with the timeline. They extended to 3 years. They also created a filtered timeline that only shows communications, which is a big thing that like people moving from like Acts or some more legacy CRMs are really used to having one list of like emails, calls, like every different communication vector.
Right.
So yeah, that was a big one. And there's some companies that for compliance reasons have to have a 3-year timeline. And so 6 months basically meant they couldn't use Zoho at a core level for any of those operations. So yeah, not always like the sexiest update when you're looking at timeline, but definitely one that's very impactful for a lot of users.
And one that also wasn't sexy, but super, was the new CRM export, which just totally bumped up the number of fields, from 3,000
like
to 200?
Yeah.
Well, it was like 3,000 or 4,000 to like 200,000, records, single. Yeah. So that was kind of cool. And Jordan's got a pick here, the ability to export list views directly from the module. Greg loved transforming data source as a subform in Zoho Writer. Wayne's was marketing automation 2.0. Stay tuned for that webinar coming up. John, our finance director, was retainer invoices can now be automated off of accepted estimates. Another big one. Lucas was the CRM global sets. Drew's pick was guided selling in Zoho CRM. What about a CPQ? Quote. What is that again? CPQ? My mind just went dead.
Figure price quote.
Figure price quote. Yes. So kind of nice on the guy. Jason, Ben, and Landon adding fields from the lookup module and lookup filters. Tom was client scripts being added to the record detailed page view. Hunter's pick was
that's a big one. Yeah.
Filtering aggregate fields on subforms. And we wrapped it up with Andrew's pick, adding the Zoho Flow actions in CRM. So anyways, a few of our team members jumping in there with some of their picks. And it's a lot, and we'll be talking about a lot of these on our year in review wrap up. So head on over there. There's links to everything we're talking about, and hopefully you find that useful. If you aren't familiar, over at Zenatta, that is where we keep all of our resources. We talked about that earlier. Our resource library is in the process of being revamped, but it's not really going to change all that much. But if you head over to the resource library, all of the Zoho applications are there. They're represented by an icon. If you click on any of those icons, that is where the resources are going to be. If you're watching this on YouTube, I clicked on CRM, and basically we break them down into all of the different categories. We rate the application, and then all of our videos are here. You can go over to YouTube and find them there, but if you're kind of searching for, this is sometimes an easier way to find what you're looking for, just kind of going through here. It's going to take you to the YouTube video anyway. But all of our blogs, all of our resources, everything lives in this resource library. So head on over to Zenatta.com and check that out, as well as our blogs. And let's wrap up this show by heading on to our tip of the week. All right, we have Wayne at it talking about, should you switch to Marketing Automation 2.0? And the answer is not a simple one. So this is 13 minutes taking you through the pros and the cons of whether or not you should switch to marketing automation 2.0 or not. There's a lot going on here.
Yeah, I really can't wait for the answer to just be yes. Just a clear and easy yes, you should. We're getting there step by step. It's going to get more and more features. I know Wayne had a lot of great things to say about the workflow builder, like for automating emails. We'd love to give this an unequivocal yes. It's getting there, but definitely worth taking a look at this video just to see some of the pros and cons at the end of the day.
Yeah, there's and he's breaking them down for you again. If you're watching us on YouTube, there's a whole list here or not, but you can go, find this. This will be a blog shortly as well. It's one of those things, though, it's really getting old talking about, but they need to get their act together with campaigns and marketing automation. Make them one application. You and I were talking about it last week, and now that it's finally out, they started stripping things out of campaigns last year, and they actually went too aggressive, if you remember, and had to put them back because marketing automation wouldn't come out. But there are some things that are missing. SMS, I think, got ripped out. Social got ripped out. So there's some things like that now only live in marketing automation. But there's anyway. This is the video you want to watch to decide if you're going to switch. And then if you are going to switch, watch the webinar he's going to do in January. That's going to give you the full breakdown of it. So. All righty. Nice job there. I like the little television screen with Zenatta in the background. Look at that. Very, very cool.
Classy.
Yeah. Stay classy, New York. Oh, and look at the Zoho cubes he's got stacked up over his shoulder there. Wow. Old stuff. There's a whole, at Christmas, that is a setting. Look at that.
Look at that.
All righty. Okay, everyone. Well, look, Tyler, I guess that's it. Another show.
That wrapped it. Other than, we did have another angel get their wings over this last week.
We did. Our YouTube subscribers hit 14,000 subscribers on our YouTube channel. And so you might want to head on over to youtube.com/Zenatta and subscribe to our channel. We post about 5 videos a week now. It's a lot. And would love to have you participate. We'd love your thoughts, your comments, and hopefully you find that useful. Well, buddy, we've got one more CRM Zen show, and then the year in review and the Zen Me's. We are getting close to wrapping up this year.
Here we are.
You're heading out to California for family?
Yeah, about a week, starting late next week. Yeah, visiting some family out there, so that'll be nice. I think you're doing a cruise, right? Something like that, or is that in January?
Yeah. No. Well, it's kind of January. We're actually staying here for Christmas, and then just before New Year's, we're heading out to Florida to visit my wife's relatives, and so we'll see them. And then some friends are flying in, and we're going out of Fort Lauderdale on a cruise, and actually landing in LA. So It's going to be interesting to see how the Wi-Fi is and how the work goes, because it's 2 weeks of puttering down through the Panama Canal, back up and over, and
that should be fun.
I'm going to attempt to actually get some work done while I'm on the cruise, because we're at sea for like 9 of the 14 days.
Yeah, you're going to be looking for something to do.
Definitely. I'm told the Wi-Fi is decent. We will see. But anyway. All right, everybody. We want to thank you so much for watching our show, listening to our show. However you get the CRM Zen Show, thank you so much for your support. If you need help with Zoho, if you've got an implementation you're trying to do, we would love to help you. And if you want to talk to us, just head over to Zenatta.com and click on book a meeting, and you'll be talking to us in no time.
On the website is also where you'll find full episodes of the show, as well as links to all the stories we discussed today. If you want that news delivered to your inbox every Monday morning, be sure to subscribe to our newsletter. And last but not least, if you find this show useful, entertaining, comedic, frustrating, whatever, go ahead and like and subscribe here on YouTube, as well as your choice of podcast app. We'll see you next Friday.
Got a feeling down deep in my Zoho, and I just can't lose. Guess I'm on my way. It's the voice of an angel, Tyler. Voice of an angel.
Let's deal with that the rest of this week. You just singing.
Have a great weekend, everybody.